these randoms keep getting jobs. Don't worry about it. I'm going to say, I can't wait to sing it. I love it. I love it. Go.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the NotBland Show. I am your host, Dujane Bland. I need to get in the camera a little better. We're powered by SportsJourney.com, everything Nitro. If you would please go over to the NotBland Show YouTube page, like, subscribe, and share. It's going to be a fun show today. We're going to have Elon Werner on in a minute. And on the back half of the show, we're going to have some Crew Chief 101 with Jim Oberhofer. We're going to ask him a few technical questions and learn something today, which I try to do on most shows. Since we have time, I'm going to go ahead and talk about WrestleMania. That was absolutely fantastic. It doesn't get any better than that. The Triple H era has begun. I think we're going to see a lot of individuals who start to come of their own. I think you're going to see more input from wrestlers to be able to evolve their characters on their own with their ideas and what they see and vision. And it'll be a happy blending of such. So I'm looking forward to it. It was great moments. Cody finishes the story. It was kind of obvious, and I'm being nice about that, but happy for him, and we'll see what everything brings next, right? This weekend at the Arizona Nationals, that was a lot of fun, a lot of chaos. I can tell you that, a lot of chaos. Your bracket, if we're talking about brackets, trash. After round one, I was done. I was like, this is not starting off good at all. Briars, that's definitely crazy. Yes, Lonnie, I will ask him about that because I think that's an interesting idea. They have little specialties here and there for different things. I will ask him about that. I'll be sure to bring that up when he comes on. Just make sure, check my messages here to make sure that we don't have any messages. Okay, we're good. And yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting of how things went out. How was your bracket by round one? I'm very interested in knowing. There were a lot of people that I saw that said, man, my bracket is not doing so well. It is not healthy at all. And how about the winners of the Arizona Nationals? Once again, I stand by my statement that I made earlier about Sean Langdon, and that Brian Hughson marriage is going to be something this year. Obviously, we talk about the regular season, and, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how they come on at the end of the season when the fireworks and the rubber meets the road in the playoffs. That's when it really does matter. But I think they're going to be really tough. They'll have a nice baseline throughout the season, and to be able to be right there and attack in the postseason. Austin Prock, I mean, what can you say about that kid? He had some things he had to deal with this weekend, car-wise, and he was able to make it happen. Kept it off the wall. I know everybody was asking about whether it was off the wall or not, on the wall, off the wall. It was very clear he didn't touch anything. Briar says, I never do well with my brackets. We were having that conversation about you using the randomizer from here on out. I thought about it this weekend, especially with the way qualifying went, looking at how different cars and different teams that you would think would be stout would go down the track or not go down the track. and it was very hard to make a decision. There were a few upsets I should have stuck with, but yeah, there was a lot of red in my ledger, and I didn't like it at all. Greg Anderson, how about him getting back on that winner's podium? I think he's driving a lot better this year. He looks to be back on his game. Him winning this weekend doesn't change anything for me. I'm still picking Erica until it's not a viable pick anymore. He got one. We'll see how many more he can get, but he had a great day. Looked good. Looked like the championship Greg Anderson that we're used to seeing. And, man, I was happy for him. I was really happy for him. I think pro mod there is Kevin Rivenbark gets the win, and super stock was Ryan McClanahan who got the win there. But great weekend. I'm ready for the bikes to come back. We still got another week, though. Got another week. Drag Race and Mayhem says, I got both the winners right in Nitro. Everything else was a bust. Yeah, it was a tough weekend, man. Really tough weekend in the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza world. It keeps you going, though, right? Like, it keeps you focused on just drag racing in general. It locks you in, and I find it to be like we're doing the NCAA bracket thing every week. You know what I mean? You set up everything and you just hit send it and you hope for the best. So I'm really enjoying it. It's just sometimes it's like golf. It's very frustrating to watch when things don't necessarily go the way that they should. So with that said, it's going to be interesting to see how we go into this next race here with the 4-wide here in Vegas. Vegas is a pretty, one of the Taj Mahals of drag racing. And hopefully we have no track issues, because once again, for a second straight week, we had some track issues, which was kind of weird with, the whole thing with the transition at the top end being terrible. So it's just weird. Hopefully we can get away from the track issues, but I think the NHRA did an excellent job of trying to got those 3 sessions in. It proves that it can be done, and they're going to do that in Virginia. I'm looking forward to that. Without further ado, we have the man of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Is my guy, Elon Werner. How's it going, buddy?
Man, I'm good. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. I lost track of time and I wasn't paying attention. So
it's been quite the day. I was fortunate enough to save my house from completely being flooded out.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Weird thing with your shutoff valve. The crimp was not close enough to the port that goes into that
right.
piping. Blew right out during breakfast. If it was like 10 or 15 minutes later, I would have been at work, and it would have taken me 8 minutes to get back here because my wife wouldn't have known what to do.
Right. And then, and who knows how many hundreds of gallons of water would have shot into your house in that 8 minutes.
Exactly. And if it happened almost 45 minutes later, none of us would have been here, and I wouldn't have came back here until lunchtime, and it would have been a mess. So,
well, I'm glad you averted disaster the day after the day after the eclipse. I've been hearing all kinds of crazy stories about the post-eclipse day.
Yeah,
so
this must be part of it.
It must be part of it. Well, thanks for having me on. So it's going to be a big week coming up for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. First time we're ever doing 4-wide.
I know. I'm super excited about it. I heard there's some new stuff coming.
Yes. So you'll be able to fill the brackets out just like normal. You'll pick the finishing order 1, 2, 3, 4 for every quad. So very close to horse racing, you'll get first place, second place, show, fourth place. So if you get all 4 finishers in the correct order, you get bonus points for every quad.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then when you fill out your last quad, you'll just put them in 1, 2, 3, 4 finishing order. So still the same deal. Doesn't matter which 2 people you pick to advance. But the big thing is Summit Racing Equipment has stepped up and is providing gift certificates, which we're kicking off this weekend. $50 gift certificates, $25 gift certificates to various winners. We're going to roll them out through the 4-Wide Challenge, which is our next sub-series. So if you're just getting started, this is a chance you can sign up, dragracebracketbonanza.com, play the 2 4-wide races, and whoever has the overall top points is going to get gift certificates. We've got cool 4-Wide Challenge Cup trophies for the top 4 finishers. And then we've got special 4-Wide certificates for the finishers that finish in 8th place, 12th, 16th, 20th, all the divisibles of 4, all the way to 40th place.
That's fantastic.
So we're excited about the 4-Wide. It's a cool element to drag racing. It's going to be a cool thing for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. We're seeing growth race over race. We're super excited to have Summit Racing Equipment step up. Jim Greenleaf, who's a big wig there, was playing last year, and he reached out to how he could support it. And it's just we'll have gift certificates basically for a variety of events. We'll probably be able to award well over 100 players gift certificates. Norwalk is a Summit race. It's going to be a big race for us. U.S. Nationals will be a big race. Countdown. So it's going to be big stuff. So we're excited about that. But really, we're excited to continue to see people play. I shipped out some plaques today. We finally got the Winter Nationals done.
Yeah, and, finally.
So that the thing that I was thinking about the plaques is every driver's been really cool about signing them. And we just kind of they just kind of sign them out of their goodness of their heart. We don't pay them to sign.
Yeah.
We're not kind of in that situation yet. But a winner is getting a John Force autographed funny car plaque for the Winter Nationals. And then the overall winner is getting a plaque signed by Justin, John Force, and Dallas Glenn. And I had John number it, I think it's his 154th win or 156th win.
Yeah.
So he numbered it. So I was talking to somebody that eventually we keep Drag Race Bracket Bonanza going. Someone is going to get like the last Drag Race Bracket Bonanza funny car plaque signed by Force.
Oh man, I gotta find a way to win that.
And the drivers are getting into it. So they're like Justin signed his Winter Nationals plaque, 3 times, 3 in a row because he's won the Winter Nationals 3 times in a row. Dallas Glenn signed his, back-to-back Winter Nationals. Greg Anderson, so the drivers are getting into making those plaques unique, which is really cool for a game that, you're playing for free or getting some cool stuff. And I think we'll have some more sponsors step up. So
shout out to Summit Racing for stepping up to the plate. It is absolutely amazing to see the growth. It's becoming, I'm happy about it, but it's becoming very difficult to stay in the top half. It's going to require some work. I've got this mentality of it's a marathon, not a sprint. So as long as I can stay within striking distance, 2 weekends can change your life.
And the thing that's also been great is just how bracket busters have just come into play in so many things, in so many ways to, really, Bobby Bodie's engaging with the fans, we posted the Bobby Brody bracket buster deal and he retweeted it was sorry, not sorry. Blake Alexander's taking shots at Mark Rubales for not picking him to win the first round. And that's the stuff that just really excites me and makes me super happy because that's interaction that we wouldn't have or fans wouldn't have with drivers if we weren't doing Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. So
exactly.
I saw Dave W. post about what's the award for the worst bracket. We'll probably call that the Elon Werner honorary award because I'm right there with you. I'm apparently it's come to a realization I'm terrible at all kinds of brackets. In March Madness, I finished 22 millionth place. I mean, someday I aspire to have Drag Race Bracket Bonanza have 22 million players, but I was terrible in my college basketball bracket. And it's what I've liked also is how fans are asking about, hey, can we have Drag Race Bracket Bonanza for this? Can we have Drag Race Bonanza for that? Lonnie, I would love to do it for Too Fast, Too Tasty, but the turnaround, I think we might be able to look at it. You'll know the week before. So that's something that is more likely to happen than the folks that are asking for Pro Mod or some of the alcohol classes, because sometimes the turnaround time is so quick on those races.
Right.
Where you'll have Pro Mod finish qualifying on Saturday morning and go right into eliminations 4 or 5 hours later. So I'll look at Too Fast, Too Tasty. I'll tell you what, Mission Foods has been fantastic about engaging with us on social media, and that's been really cool. So I think the overall deal, it's still working some kinks out with everything. As you kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger, you're finding, different things. So if you have a hiccup, bear with us, but we're working on making it better and better and better every race.
Yeah. I've been this past weekend in week 3 of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, it was littered with bracket busters. And you really qualifying kind of dictated that just a little bit.
Yep.
And sometimes you can be deceived. We had that at the Winter Nationals as well, where you thought guys weren't going to come out because they didn't qualify, didn't look good in qualifying, and they hit a home run on Sunday. This weekend though, a lot of the little guys got a lot of big wins, and I had a good portion of those. I believed in a few. I think it was Bob Tasca got me again.
Yep.
At least I picked Austin to win this time, and I got that one.
You got that one. So the thing that's super interesting is I think as the season progresses, it's going to get harder and harder to make picks because Tasca's he's going to get his stuff figured out.
Yep.
You look at how close Buddy Hull has come to completely wrecking people's brackets.
Yes. I thought it was going to happen this weekend.
Gainesville, 0.08 of a second in the first round against Austin. I don't know how Austin can pedal his car 4 or 5 times like that. He must have the Midas touch on that throttle pedal, because anybody else, I feel like they hit their throttle twice.
Boom.
It's going to backfire. The emergency system's going to go off, whatever. But, that was just a total timing deal. So guys like Buddy Hull are going to start winning rounds. You got Tony Stewart winning rounds on Top Fuel. Yep. It's going to be you always have your favorites. You'll have dominant guys. Sean Langdon is a guy that still, I think a lot of people are sleeping on. Yep. And now guy wins 2 out of 3 races. I'm telling you.
I didn't pick him to win this weekend. I did pick he went all the way to the end, but I didn't pick him to win this weekend. Yeah. I've said it from the beginning. That guy with the marriage that he's got with Brian Hughes that's it. And he's dangerous this year. And I think he's a really, really strong contender for the championship.
I think it's unique. He was talking about his relationship with Brian, and he got asked about kind of the struggles he's had the last couple of years. And I think what you're seeing now is the last couple of years, Sean really knew he sometimes had to win a race with his feet, with his reaction times. So he's gotten hyper aware of that. Now he's getting confidence in his race car again, married with 2 years of being hyper focused on the tree. And you got him, Justin Ashley, Josh Hart, Tony Stewart's coming around. You can't count out Tony Schumacher. I think the summertime races, and that's what I'm bummed there's no traditional Western swing this year. Yeah. Because I think if you could get 3 races in a row in those conditions, it could just be a bloodbath of competition, which will be it'll be exciting in June and July and all those. But I just think that you could see potentially some really great things happening. For sure, you'll still see them in Seattle and Sonoma. Right. But you get to some of these races, I think Chicago's going to be a barn burner. But I think the level of competition, the fact that the drivers are really kind of leaning into Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, and I think fans are getting more engaged too. You're starting to see more fans talk about drivers that they're keeping an eye on. We're moving some merch, which is cool. I meant to say also, the winners of the next 2 races are going to get Speed Freaks license plate covers, license plate frames.
That's pretty awesome.
So people are stepping up and kind of doing some stuff. So it's going to be cool. We're going to try to make it really interesting. So it'll be good stuff. And it's still free. And it's still, even 3 or 4 races in, you still got a really good shot of winning the overall title. You can get your practice in, start your leagues. We're almost up over 200 leagues now, which to me blows my mind that, some of the leagues only have 4 or 5 people in them, but some are pretty good size. So, we're still probably the biggest thing I could tell everyone that's listening is when you sign up, be sure to sign up for, emails and text notifications. So you get reminders. But then also when you go to fill out your league, be sure to fill out the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza main league, and then you can apply that to all your other secondary leagues. So you can go from that to your NotBland Show league, and then you can either copy that bracket or make a whole new bracket. You can have 10 different brackets if you're in 10 different leagues. But that's the biggest thing is people are learning, fill out the main bracket for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza league, then go to all your secondary leagues and apply that. Because we had a hiccup where some folks, our man Bobby Bennett, I feel so bad for him. He filled out his bracket in the Competition Plus league, but somehow didn't apply it to the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza league. And he actually scored more points than the overall. He would have won top fuel in the overall league. So I'm having to send him. But so Bobby Bennett is the asterisk, on that deal. But it's a whole, and that's where I get into my personal feelings of, hey, want to make everybody happy, but it's still kind of a learning process. So it's a whole deal. It's getting bigger and better. So we've got some cool things coming down the pipe. But I just love being able. It gives me a reason to have conversations with people I normally wouldn't.
Right.
Greta June stopped me in the pits to talk Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. She's an amazing woman. One of the only handful of female crew chiefs helping Travis Shoemake out.
Right.
And I've seen
he looked good this weekend. I know they had some hiccups, but man, he made a really stout run.
He did. And it's just interesting that, there's folks like that being around the sport for so long, I've seen them. I know them. Hello, how you doing? Good to see you. Have a good day today. But that's the first involved conversation I've had with her ever. And it was about all things Drag Race Bracket Bonanza and, awesome. How the whole thing and how she plays. How cool is that?
That is awesome.
So
it has breathed some new life into our sport. And it's gotten people who normally would be casually paying attention, like really vested every week.
Yeah.
And, it's only going to get better. It's something that the sport needed, big time. We say that all the time, but man, even myself, it's like, I find myself paying more attention to my bracket sometimes. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've actually got to do some work here.
Yeah.
I got to do my media side of stuff too, but man, sometimes it hurts.
And it's cool. It's also becoming a resource too, as far as being able to find the ladders, stats. I even surprised myself as I'm updating it. After we did the Winter Nationals, you can't, I was doing some update and I was like, oh, it already had John Force's the Winter Nationals winner in the stats. So you can see that stuff. And it should, there's some questions about the logins and stuff. We're working on having it be so you can stay logged in versus having to log in every time when you get in. That's a little bit of a security issue on our side. But things like that, Briar, we're constantly looking at, and I have to tell myself all the time that sometimes when people, because I get all the emails, we've talked about that, but my natural inclination is I want to make everyone happy. And sometimes I have to go, okay, well, 1,000 people figured this out. 3 people maybe didn't figure it out. Let's help educate those 3 or 4 people versus reinventing the wheel on that deal. So it's a balancing act that I kind of have to take care of.
Yeah. So we've got the 4 wide.
Yes.
Coming up. And then so we have the majors is still a part of that too.
Yeah, well, the majors is the next major race will be the U.S. Nationals. So the majors is kind of set with the Gator Nationals, the Winter Nationals, and then the U.S. Nationals will be the last major race. So we got a little bit of a break there.
Yeah. Okay.
In the meantime, we'll have the 4 wide challenge. So these 2 races. And then we're probably going to do some kind of cool summertime promotions in lieu of the Western Swing. Katie Patera is going to make our majors trophy for us, which I'm super excited. We're working on that. We'll do championship belts for the countdown again. So that's really the next little mini series is the 4 wide challenge. But we'll do some cool stuff over the summer to just kind of keep people interested, because it is, like you said, it's a marathon. The person that wins the overall 20 race championship, I think we should really, we should look at bringing them to the banquet and recognizing them with the banquet.
I agree. I would love to see that. That would be fantastic.
Well, I do have in my head, PRI show could be a good place to recognize, some winners and kind of talk about 2025 and things like that.
Yeah.
But the thing that's great is winners are coming from all over the country. We have winners and it's amazing to me that they're consistently all over. We had winners from Washington, Ohio, Texas, I think so they're just kind of spread out all across the country. South Carolina, Alabama. But that, to me, fires me up, that just the reach of, Minnesota this weekend. Nice. The reach of just the fan base is really, truly, across the country and really around the world, because we've got people playing in Australia. I think we even had someone playing in Korea this weekend. So it's bonkers how, that's just the global reach of NHRA.
Yeah. I mean, it really, really says a lot about our sport.
Yeah.
And man, I really believe this is the catalyst, not only just to bring new fans in, but it also gets other fans engaging with each other.
Yeah.
About what's going on, about their bracket. And it kind of builds up a, kind of what I like to say, my favorite coach, Joe Gibbs, would say, fire in your belly.
For sure.
About the sport. So
for sure. And it's creating community. Like, I've seen previous winners, they'll share their plaque pictures, and then other winners will share their plaque pictures, and they're kind of having their own intercommunications and, on Facebook and stuff. So that, to me, plus I love seeing all the dumpster fire gifts. That is really, I feel like Drag Race Bracket Bonanza is really keeping the dumpster fire gift makers in business. That if there was a company that I could get to just sponsor that's what I would look at. Whoever's making dumpster fire gifts, reach out to me. I would love to get some Drag Race Bracket Bonanza specific dumpster fire gifts, because that, to me, is just, it cracks me up how many of them there are out there.
Yeah, it's a lot of them, and I have had to use it.
Yes.
Yes. This weekend, we got that 4 wide. Who do you like really coming into the thing, and who do you like that really? I think Alexis got herself some momentum coming into this thing, and I think John Force that one win was the win to kind of break the glass, so to speak, that's been kind of holding him back. I also think he could nab another one. That car's running very well.
I agree. I think in funny car, you got to look at a guy like J.R. Todd, who does really well in the 4 wides, has a really good career at Vegas. Alexis, and then I think you're like saying Force. I think Blake Alexander, can't overlook him.
Right. And
I
car's
think
very consistent.
This is a race that a Bobby Bodie, Dave Richards, Buddy Hull could go some rounds in, because if they can get their car to go A to B, other guys will be smoking the 2 cars advancing every quad. makes it super interesting for the independent teams. Top Fuel, Steve Torrance, I feel like he has the magic at 4 wide. He just does so well. I don't know if it's just his concentration level. Also, keep an eye on Josh Hart. I know they made a good run in the first round. He kind of, long tree, he and Sean Langdon both said, and we looked at the data. That was the longest tree of the whole day. It was the maximum amount of wait time on the system. But then, so he ran good in E1, and then he ran like low 370s at 330 in the heat on Monday in testing. So he's excited about his program, and he's gone rounds in 4 wides before. So those are 2, I think, in Top Fuel to keep an eye on. And Pro Stock, I mean, let's be honest. Until Erica Enders gets beat playing this game,
that's my thought.
The KB Titan guys had a great weekend in Phoenix with Dallas winning Winter Nationals, Greg winning the Arizona Nationals, but that's going to be a tough one to go against Erica at this 4 wide race because she, but also give me Jed Coughlin in Pro Stock because that guy, just his ability to drive a race car unparalleled. And I can't wait to finally get Pro Stock Motorcycle back in Charlotte in a couple of weeks too.
Me too. It's been a long wait. I don't like that. They've got to find a way to get them another race.
I agree.
That's too long. And I think of guys and girls that didn't have an opportunity to really test before Gainesville.
Right.
They kind of got a nice baseline, but now, not everybody has the ability to go test in between.
Right.
And now you're sitting and you're back to square one, figuring it out again. And then you have to figure it out at a 4 wide race. Yeah. So there's just so many complications there. It's just too long of a wait, man.
And I'm still hoping I'm going to continue to throw this out in the universe. I don't think you can do it at Vegas, but I think you could do it at Charlotte, where at the end of Charlotte, you go in well in advance and you say, if you win the Charlotte race, an hour after eliminations, we're going to bring all 4 of the winners back and have a King of the Hill race for $15,000, $20,000. And you run them staggered start, the Top Fuel winner, Funny Car winner, Pro Stock Motorcycle winner, all race at the same time.
I agree. I like that.
I would love to see that. I think that would be bad to the bone, and I think it would be a spectacle. I don't know. I'd have to talk and you have to get some experts about, okay, well, do you want, the nitro guys on the outside lanes and the Pro Stock people on the inside lanes, how that would all work out. But just to me, I don't know if a Top Fuel dragster blasting past a motorcycle would, tip Matt or Angie Smith over.
Yeah.
But, not that I'm saying I want to see that, but I'm just saying it would be kind of how do you make it work out? So I would love to see that, and so when that's I like the 4 wide. I know it's kind of not everyone's cup of tea,
right?
But it'll be exciting for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It'll be cool to just see it again, and I like having them back to back too.
Yeah, me too. I think that's perfect. Get it out of the way. It's not one of these things where you're in mid-season.
Right.
And you're trying to get yourself together, geared up to go towards, playoff time, and you got this specialty race in the middle of it. So, yeah, I like that as well.
And it gives the teams 4 qualifying sessions, which I know they love. They've been very frustrated with losing sessions to rain and only having 3 qualifying. I mean, I think the ability to get four qualifying runs, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, is going to make a big difference in performance and quality of the show.
I agree. Definitely. Well, Elon, thanks for coming on. And we're going to have you back on in week 5. It'll be you and Kira who will be on, and we're going to have a big powwow of Drag Race and Bracket Bonanza.
It's going to be fantastic. I love everything she's been doing. I know she started a league. She's probably one of the most interesting people I've met.
Yeah, me too.
And I can't wait. I'm going to get her to the Seattle race.
So that's going to be fantastic.
We're going to do a big Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, something or other at Seattle with her. So it's going to be exciting stuff. But yeah, we'll definitely look forward to talking to you and her. And thanks so much for having me on. And I can't say it enough. Sign up for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. I know you've been scrolling the website, but just dragracebracketbonanza.com. And I would love to see people play and interact and have a good time.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Elon.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Later, brother.
All right.
Looks like we have Jimmo in the green room. I think he's having a little trouble getting his camera on. We'll stall until then. Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I'm really looking forward to getting the bikes back, though. Dave W says you'd have a better shot of a pro mod in the final four, not a bike. There is no vehicle you can put next to a bike that is safe. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the issue. That force coming off the headers might be a problem with everything. And if we have to, we can just go without camera. We'll see if Jimmo is ready and he can at least has the audio. Jimmo, you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
We won't worry so much about the camera deal. We'll just let it go with the audio.
Get that fixed here in a second. I am technologically challenged sometimes.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I'm going to go on my phone now. I was on my laptop.
Oh, that's weird.
So we'll see if that'll work now. I think this will work better.
Oh, I see you. We'll remove you from here and bring you back here.
Yeah, there we go.
Man, it's been a wacky season for you guys. You ups and downs. Good thing though, it's early. What's been the big catalyst that's been tripping things up a little bit?
We had a great race in Bradenton, Florida. We went down there and we moved some people around on the team. Have a couple new guys on the team, and for some reason we left Bradenton. We went to Gainesville. Friday was okay, and then we started having a couple little problems on Saturday, and then Pomona happened, and we had some pretty good problems. The first thing was on the way to Pomona, our hospitality truck and trailer, they were involved in an accident, small accident. Nobody was hurt, luckily. And so that kind of, put our guys behind the eight ball, getting to Pomona. And, and then with, the crazy weather and things that we had, track conditions and stuff, we went out the first run. We had a problem, dropped a couple cylinders, at once. And then it proceeded to blow the blower off the thing and do some damage. Hurt a rear wing stand, things like that. And, then Saturday, the one run we made, it did the same exact thing. And, Nikki Bonifani and I, we stayed all night, at the racetrack, and we figured out, we felt like what the problem was. Right. And, so, Sunday morning we addressed that problem, of why we were dropping cylinders. Well, the car went out and ran good. We beat Antron Brown, ran 373 to his, I believe, 374. And as soon as Clay got to the finish line, it blew up again. And when we got back to the pit area and we're looking at the damage and we're trying to figure out, like, okay, why did this happen? And, we're looking at the damage and it just isn't making sense. And, after the race, after that first round race, we put our, everything back together to go up there for the second round. And, we started the car up in the pits and we had an oiling problem. We weren't getting oil up top to the engine. And, sometimes when that happens, it's a pretty easy fix. You have, our rocker stands have oiling holes in some of the stands, and we figured, well, the stands weren't put together right. Well, they were put together right. And, so then we started looking in some other directions, and then it was too close. We were going to be first pair for second round. And, NHRA's calling us up there, and we just didn't have enough time to fix it right. And, so, I told Rick Ware and Clay and the guys, I said, we're not going to start this car. I said, because we don't know what's wrong with it. And I said, I'm not going to take it up there and potentially, do some damage and oil the track down and create a delay, for the other racers. So, reluctantly, we decided not to run, but, we ended up figuring out what the problem was with why we weren't getting oil, to the motor. And it had happened on some runs before.
Right.
And, it just didn't show up in all of our data that we had that, we weren't getting the oil to the motor that we needed to get. So we addressed that problem. We regrouped, because even though there was we only made 3 runs at Pomona, we did a decent amount of damage. And, so it took a little bit, for us to recover to get ready for Phoenix. But, the cool part is after Pomona, Buddy Hull's one of my good friends, and
he's a good guy.
He called me up right away and he says, what do you need? What can I do to help you out? And, and I'm like, well, I said, I appreciate it. Let me assess what we've got going on and where we can be. And, I called him back the next day and I asked him because, we had a blower coming to Phoenix, a new blower that we had purchased from Darren Mayer, DMPE Superchargers. And we knew that was going to be at Phoenix, but so that gave me 2 superchargers. And with, back-to-back races, you never know what can happen. And we weren't going to have the ability to get another supercharger until, before the Charlotte 4-wide. And I asked Buddy, I said, hey, what kind of superchargers did you run on your top fuel car? And he says, DMPE. And he says, you need some? And I said, how many do you have? He says, well, I have 3 of them. And I said, well, can I buy one from you? And he goes, you don't need to buy it, just borrow it. Like, just have it. And he says, why don't you take 2? And I said, okay. I'm
not going to say no.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So, me being from Texas, I'd gone back to Texas and I met up with Buddy Hull and his crew chief, Mike Guger, on the Monday before the Phoenix race, and took my dad out there. We went and had lunch, and then we went to Buddy Hull's Top Fuel shop and did some shopping there. And he's like, here, you need this, you need that. And he gave it to me. And then I met my guys early Tuesday morning and loaded them up with some stuff. So very appreciative to Buddy Hull for, helping us out. And then Del Worsham loaned us the rear wing off of his Top Fuel car to give us a spare. Our rear wing, Aerodyne, I guess they're moving facilities and they couldn't, get us either new main element or try to fix the main element that we had on our car. So, shout out to Del Worsham and Matt Bynum as well for helping us out. So, and that's really cool. Like, it really shows what kind of family that, NHRA drag racing is. And if somebody's in a little bit of trouble, they're willing to help you out, and definitely appreciative of that. But, good news is we went to Phoenix. We didn't have any issues at all. The only issue we had on Q2 at Phoenix, the first run on Saturday, things down there trucking along, and it on the barrel valve, it blew a cap out, broke a snap ring and blew a cap out, and basically the engine went lean. But luckily it didn't do any damage. And after that, Nikki and I are looking at each other. We're just like, what in the world do we have to do? Like, we must have done something wrong. The drag racing gods are not happy with us right now.
Yeah.
But, first round, it was running good. We were actually out ahead of Antron Brown at the 330-foot mark, but it put a cylinder out, number 8 cylinder, and we decided to shut Clay off, and it went 389, 271 or something like that. It might have run a 382 if we let him go through, but we weren't going to get the win. So, it just wasn't necessary at that time to, go out and run the car, all the way and then potentially, do some damage. So it's like, we're in good shape getting to Vegas now. And, we've got a full complement of parts and we'll go out there and do our best. And, I told Nikki, I said, I usually do pretty good at those 4 wides and getting into the final round, or the final quad, I should say. I just have never been able to win one. I've been runner up there many a times,
right?
But just never have won. And Nikki, him and Dell won with Sean Langdon, I believe, back in 2019 at the Charlotte 4 wides. I said, So I'm counting on you, Nikki.
I want to commend you for making that call. That's got to be hard to do, but it was a huge move to protect not only the car, but they were already having issues with weather, and an oil down might have really slowed it down. So I know that's got to be hard to do, but you should be commended for just saying, hey man, we're not good enough in a good position right now to think that we're going to be okay running this car right now, and just save things, and we'll come back, pick them up, and go and get it the next time. And I understand, like, having new crew guys, it's like an offensive line. So it takes a little bit to get those guys gelling and working together. And especially if you move some guys around. I mean, I don't think people realize how important that is, so they can get into a rhythm. And once they get into a rhythm and get gelling, now it's just like a well-oiled machine. Everybody's doing what they need to do, and it goes smooth. So yeah, having changes makes a big difference, I believe.
Yeah, we've got a great group of kids, and they're all young, they're all hungry. The one thing, comparing us to a lot of the other teams, we don't have the experience that some of the bigger teams might have, and I've got a great car chief in Jesse Snyder. He really works hard, and he was with me when I was at Coletta's, and we kind of joked my late wife Tammy was the one who made me hire him back then, many years ago, and just a great young man, hard worker, and he's the future of NHRA drag racing is a crew chief, in the nitro categories, and we all take this personal, and we take it hard. And I know after Pomona he was really upset about not being able to, be up there for the second round. That's the first time that's ever happened in his career. And I said, hey, every day there's something that goes on in this sport. And, anytime you think that you know everything about the sport, or you think you've seen it all and done it all, the next day arrives and it'll show you that you don't.
Right. Exactly. Not pertaining to the issue you guys had in Pomona, but when you guys have a gremlin that is hard to find throughout qualifying, and you may be in the show, you might have time to do it at the race, and you may not, and you may have to go back to the shop and figure that out. What are the processes that you guys go through in order to dissect, especially when it's something that is kind of hard to dictate when the data doesn't show it? What are the processes that you guys use to kind of do that process of elimination so that you can come to that conclusion and find that hidden gremlin that's plaguing you guys during qualifying and possibly race day?
Well, usually if you have a problem, the first thing you do is you look at the data, that you have, you look at the parts, you look at the pieces, and you try to pinpoint something. And usually the parts, they'll talk to you. And, sometimes they may speak a little bit of a different language than what you speak, but, you have to try to understand what it's telling you. And then, looking at the data on the computer as well, could help steer you in the right direction. But a lot of times it's the experience of, having the people out there that can, look at things real quick and dissect things, a direction that you need to go. And sometimes, when you're in between rounds, sometimes you don't get that luxury, to figure out exactly what was going on. And like for us, like before second round, I told my guys, I said, hey, look, if it's not the rocker stands, if they're put together right and it's not the rocker stands, the only other thing I know is that the oil filters put together wrong. And if it's not that, then we have something in the block itself. And, for us, that's what it ended up being. It was something that was in the block itself that was wrong, that kept it from oiling up top. And, but then we did have some problems with our oil filter assembly on some previous runs. Yeah. And it was definitely a head scratcher because, we had one problem that was causing the car to drop a cylinder, and that was an ignition problem. And we figured that out, and we just figured, okay, now we have this problem fixed. But, after, we made that run in first round, the car's going down there and it's on 8 cylinders, and, and I'm pretty excited, like, all right, here we go. It's going good. And, I see the wind light come on, and then I see parts flying, and I'm like, good God, like what happened here? And, for me and for Nikki and, the guys on the team, our first priority is taking care of Clay, and making sure that he's safe in the car. And so, I can't stand it when things like that happen. And, because, Nikki and I both, we lost our brother and our best friend, Scott Collette in 2008. And that's something that we'll never forget. Right. And, so we try really, really hard to make sure that we give Clay, the safest car possible. So when things like that happen, you take it very personally, and we were probably a little conservative and gun shy at Phoenix, but we needed to get our feet back under us, and I'm very confident now moving forward going to Vegas that we can get back on the saddle and get after it like we did in Bradenton earlier this year.
Yeah, I thought there were flashes and that showed that you guys are moving in the right direction. And what a better way for you guys are hopefully we'll get 4 qualifying sessions, and man, it's going to be fun. I hope that you can seal the deal this time at a 4-wide.
Yeah, I love racing in Vegas. It's such a an awesome facility, and they do such a great job with the racetrack and the racing surface out there. It's a lot of fun, and and of course Vegas is Vegas. I'm actually out here now. Got here last night, and we'll go out in the morning, and we'll park our rigs, and we'll get all set up and ready for the weekend. But the 4-wides are an interesting race. I remember when they first came out, I'm like, boy, this is a mess, how it's all going. But it seems like it's calmed down a little bit, Yeah. I think the biggest problem early on is a lot of the people didn't know which lane they were in, like when their pre-stage light lit up or didn't light up, Right. They didn't know where they're at. But it's a pretty neat format, and it's like you can finish in second place in the first and second rounds, but you can still win the race. And right. It's kind of a neat deal there. So I'm hoping we can do good here and get us a race win out here, and then go back to Charlotte and do that 4-wide there. And it'd be really cool to get a win for Rick Ware, because hopefully he'll be there. Sometimes he's all over the place, and he's hard to, get him one place or the other. But I know he loves the drag racing, and it'd be awesome for us to win a race with Rick there.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. Well, Jimmo, I thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show again. We'll be talking to you again soon, and good luck this weekend in Vegas. I got a little hunch in my gut there that I think you guys are going to have a pretty good weekend.
Well, I like that, John. I like it when you have a hunch.
Thank you so much, Jimmo. We'll talk to you again soon.
You take care. All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Man, I love talking to that guy. You learn so much. I hope you guys learn so much. And yes, John, hold it on the tickets, will you? All right? Take it easy on them. I know you got a job to do. But take it easy on them. Man, it's been a great show. Again, I tell you, go to the NotBland Show YouTube page. Make sure that you subscribe. That numbers up so we can eventually get things sponsored here. And that way you stay locked in when we go live, because sometimes we have surprise shows. Well, it's been a great night. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Your comments and participation is always appreciated. The love that's been shown for this show, it's really overwhelming, to be honest with you. I never thought that it would be this good. So I thank you all for your participation and love. Tonight at 9 o'clock, I will be on the Competition Plus Power Hour. We have Austin Prott, so I recommend that you tune in. Austin's always a great interview. As you know, we've had him here, and we're going to get to talk about that win, and we'll get to talk about how he had some close calls, had to really manhandle that car. It's going to be fun. So tune in. 9:05 is when he will be on, and then, of course, after his interview, we'll be talking all things drag racing, as we always do. So come on over, join us, have fun. Again, this is the NotBland Show. I'm your host, Jiim Bland. We are powered by SportsJourney.com and everything Nitro. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good night.